Alrighty, well, thank you everyone for joining. We'll give it another 30 seconds for people to join in. All right, Olivia, should we kick it off?
Yep, you're good.
Alrighty, well, appreciate everyone joining. As the title states, this is going to be an evidence to report completion webinar and how Rev can sort of streamline that process for you. So go over a quick agenda and then start everything off. So today's agenda, I'll do a quick introduction to myself. We'll do a walkthrough of the process from taking that raw evidence and then getting it into a report. And then we'll have some time at the end for any Q&As. So feel free throughout, if you have anything that comes up, feel free to put any questions in the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen, and we'll get to those near the end. So myself, my name is Will Weiss. I'm one of our account executives here at Rev. I work specifically with our law enforcement teams. So my day-to-day is partnering with them, going through their workflows. One of the ones obviously top of mind today is taking the evidence, getting the reports. So we'll be going through that, and that's sort of my day-to-day. Contact information is there. Feel free to grab that. I'll also throw it on the screen near the end if there's any further need after the presentation today. Awesome. So let me share my screen real quick, and then we will jump into this. All right. We'll help my screen is sharing there. Wanted to start this by just kind of painting a picture of what I experience day to day with our law enforcement teams. Picture that 4-month internal external investigation, everything that comes included with that, from all the interviews, the body cams, the 911 audios, the police reports, all the paperwork. You got to, figure out case chronologies associated with these, create affidavits. So months of work, all this, stacking on top of each other with the evidence. So with Rev, with a lot of the law enforcement teams I've worked with, we've been able to condense that, 4-month investigation, 6 months into investigation into a weekish, just through leveraging Rev and the technology we have. So want to talk about that today. This isn't going to be about, typing faster to make the transcripts. This is going to be all about getting the raw evidence interviews, all the PDFs, the Word documents, getting them into that report as quickly as possible. So why this matters, I think today, a lot of the people that I talk with and every agency and law enforcement group that I work with is dealing with this problem right now. Cases are going up. Evidence in each case is getting even, growing by the minute. 10 years ago, a case might have had a written statement and a photograph. Now it's, like I mentioned earlier, hours of body cam, hours of interrogation interviews, 911 audios, you name it, it's going to be attached to a case. So it is a good thing that we do have more evidence, but it comes at a cost to us. So more evidence, again, means more admin. And, let's be honest, I don't think anyone got into law enforcement to be an admin person or write reports or any of those things. On my end, I hate admin. I'm sure majority of people hate admin as well. So that's where, the good work that you do on a day-to-day is going to have to get turned into a report. And, sometimes those end up half finished, which just sucks at the end of the day. So yeah, so I think, walking through a normal day, I hope that sounds familiar. I think, top of mind for me, you sit down for that hour-long interrogation audio, you watch it minute by minute as you're going through this report creation. You kind of have to think back, when did that important quote happen? You have to scrub back, listen to it again, and then you have to kind of get that into a report, keep everything, overlaid and in your mind of the certain timeline that happened. And then you might make that quote. Maybe you sit down end the day and then you have to go back and try to remember all those different times. So it's obviously a very big problem. Sometimes I hear officers, they might even cut interviews short because they're going to have to type this up later and it's going to take more admin. So All of that is very intensive and, is the burden of the job. So case reports, case chronologies, affidavits, that's what we're going to show within this demo here. And I will get into that. So as you see here, whether you've used Rev in the past, I hope this looks familiar. This is going to be our home page for you. Um, to start, I think the best thing that a lot of legal teams and law enforcement teams will use right now is going to be our integrations. So we'll start here. If your organization leverages Dropbox, Box, OneDrive, Google Drive, those are great integrations where you can just grab those files, select them, throw them into Rev, and they'll start being ingested. Another area that a lot of legal teams would be the zip file. So in those instances, when you do have audios, videos, maybe there's even PDFs or text-based documents, when you do have a current audio setup or use previous recorded information, that's going to be the best way to get those in. From there, we do have anything like live or in the moment. We do have a mobile app, so you can download this. It'll be on your iPhone or Android. You can think of that as kind of like voice memo. Apple, that's an Apple app that you can record. It'll be transcribed and then uploaded in between your account and the desktop version. And then other option would be off your desktop. So if you go up here to this new, hit new recording, click on that, hit this record button. This will give a view of what our software is doing for any of the transcription in the background. So this is our ASR at work. It's our automatic speech recognition. So it's taking the noises I'm saying right now and then turning those into text, and it'll give you a preview here of that. So those are the main ways of ingestion. From there, whether you're just have a solo account or if you would like to get into a collaboration space, you can direct those files into My Files. Those will only be accessible by the user. If you do have additional teammates or team members, more of an enterprise plan, that's going to be best for workspaces where you can collaborate, share those files across the entirety of the organization. So I'll hop in here to our workspace. As you can see in here, easy to organize the files. So whether that's a certain investigation, an active case, easy to organize those as in Rev. We'll hop in here to this case file. So from here, you'll get a quick summary. I think this is very useful in instances when, these names of the file types can be very random. They can be random numbers. Easy way to get an understanding of each of these. So then you can either rename those and get started in your review as quickly as possible. So we'll start with a single transcript here. As you can see, it'll come in here. The speaker names will be labeled out as speaker one, speaker two, speaker three. Easily able to bulk edit these. Let's change this to Bill. It's going to go through and reassign all of those. So that's going to be the first step to kind of get organization going. From there, I think accuracy is always a big thing in law enforcement. So to kind of understand the accuracy of this transcript, would highly recommend turning on this low confidence words filter. This is going to highlight any words that it doesn't believe with like 100% accuracy that word is that word. So easy to come in here, make any adjustments if necessary, or if there's a particular part that is utmost importance, you can come in here and edit those changes. Once you kind of get that finalized, I think the AI templates is a very big value add for a lot of teams. So this is going to be with our enterprise plan. We're able to have us re-engineer these summaries into Rev, which the value add in that is, say every single interrogation that you have, I'm understanding that you would most likely all want, certain quotes, certain information related to the interview, key moments, or just a certain format that you would want. We can re-engineer those into Rev where you can just come in here, click on the summary, and it'll give you that instant summary of the transcript. So all of this information will be timestamped. So to verify any of the answers, you can click on the certain part and it'll bring you right to that moment. And then the other big value add with this is going to be the Rev AI chat. So when we spoke about earlier, when you can't remember the certain moment when he said this or the important quote when you need to find that, this is one easy way to just search through the summary and get a quick answer of what was happening here. So if I wanted to list the moments of the churches. And the unique thing about Rev is that it is a closed loop system. So a big terminology that we hear a lot with other AIs is going to be hallucinating. Hallucinating means just AI basically creating answers. So with Rev, because we're a closed loop system, all these answers are only going to be attributed to this transcript. So there's no way for it to make up answers or anything like that. It's all going to be verifiable, as you can see with these timestamps, and bring you to those exact moments. So once you've done your review with the single transcript, I think the big area that a lot of legal teams will reference, obviously getting to the report creation. So as you can see here, we have this entire case file with several different audios, videos. Super easy to select all of these. If you wanted to exclude a couple of files for a reason, you're able to select whichever files that you like. So I've done that. We'll hop up to analyze. And now we're in the multi-file search of Rev, which is going to be Rev Insights. This was found right here. So we'll jump in here. So two different ways. You can either take those selected or go back and choose the files from here. Select all those, pull them into Rev Insights. And then from here, so this AI template that I'm about to leverage is going to be one that we've created that other law enforcement teams use. This is another area where, if you do have that select format of a report that you do every single time, we can work with our team on our enterprise plan to get that, and then we can format it and get it into Rev, where you can just click a button and it'll take all the audios and videos and PDFs and just create that report for you. So I'll click on this report template. And this will begin working. It's going to, again, because Rev is a closed loop system, it's only going to answer off the PDFs, videos, audios that are listed over here. So it's not going to create any internet searches or work off of other files inside your account. It'll only answer off of this area here. So as this report starts, I think some key things that a lot of the law enforcement teams that I work with really like about this is the ability to prompt in how you want this report to come out, and it's never really going to be a final report. But with Rev, we want to get you, say, 50% or 75% of the way there to get the massive time savings. And as you can see here, we prompted in, we do not want this to be a final report. That's a big worry in this space right now is, AI reports and doing them 100% and not having officers going back and verifying them. So with Rev, you can put in these prompts, this is not a final report, and then areas across here that need to be verified by a human. So across this report, everything is going to have to be verified. There's no way for you to just copy and paste this and throw this into a complete report. And then the other utility, obviously, with verifying is going to be all of these information that is listed in this report is going to be verifiable with timestamps. So if I wanted to click on here, this is going to pull me to an investigation report. If I wanted to click on this section, it's going to bring me to a video, and then it's going to highlight why it answered this specific section. Again, more areas to verify. This is not going to be a final report at the end of the day. And then again, so this is formatted as all these different section titles. These can be adjusted to your pleasing. So if you do have a certain format or a certain way of doing these reports, these can all be updated to suit your guys' needs. And we'll give this a second to finish off. Again, all this information will be verified. If you did want to take any of these sections of like why it answered from this area, you can also clip within a rev as well. So if I wanted to just take this area from speaker one, easy to do so and grab the certain sections or transcript that you would want. You can just save this clip for later. Give this another second to finish up. So now this is the final report here. As you can see, part of this prompt as well, we wanted to some verify flags. So all this information is going to need to again be go back, verify, and make sure that this information is all correct. We're never going to be able to, fully 100% with accuracy do these, and that's not the intended purpose of Rev. And then the last section, we have this discrepancies and contradictions. Again, another verify flag section. And these verify sections could be anywhere from an accused driver, must be verified and resolved. This is also going to list out any missing documents that were spoken within these files. List those for you as well. As evidence continues to pile up, it can be hard to kind of knows which files are where and that sort of information. So now that this is done, we can go in here and click on this draft document button. Click on that. So it's going to take that report, it's going to put it over here on the right-hand side. And then this is where I can edit, make any changes that I need. You can jump to the verify areas. And then, for example, I verify this certain area. I can just delete that out and continue on. Elsewhere, you can delete off this sort of section. And then you can continue verify on here. We have all the functionality that you could kind of find in like a Word doc or Google Doc where you can bold, italicize, any bullet points, numbers, that sort of information. And then if you wanted to, you can continue having the citations or turn those off. And then once you are done here, everything is verified. You can go up here and export this as a PDF or a doc. So, from that raw evidence to this point, this was all done within, 10, 15 minutes to get to this report template. And again, this is never going to be a finalized report, but this is going to get you 50%, 75% of the way there to just help drastically speed up those times. So that's an example with one of those cases. The other case wanted to run through would be this use of force case. So this case was very audio dependent and interview dependent. So another example outside of just doing reports and police reports would be, selecting all these files, hitting the analyze. This is going to bring it back into Rev Insights. And then, some key searches that we see a lot of law enforcement teams doing would be, find all the inconsistencies between these files. So just go ahead here, click search. Again, because this is the closed loop system, this is going to go through and only answer based off of the files listed here. And in addition to police reports, if you do have any searches that you would want to get into Rev that want to be templates that you do over and over again, again, that's an area that with our enterprise plan that we can go in there and reverse engineer those searches into Rev just to kind of help speed up your process. And a lot of people, I think this is a great search just because, again, your evidence is scattered all over the place. You may not have a direct timeline. Maybe you have pages all over a whiteboard and lines and guidelines like that. Super easy way to just kind of get that information all in one place. You then can easily draft this document, send it out to other teammates just to kind of get an understanding of what's going on. And then the other area a lot of legal teams will leverage Rev would be bringing affidavits. Build me a one-page affidavit of this, super quick and easy. It'll go through and again, just answer off the files listed. And with that completed, you just hit this draft document button. Add this here. I can go back in, review, make any changes, move the citations. If I do make any changes, easy to save. So really easy to again organize your raw evidence and get that right into Rev, and then you can from there generate the files in a very, very quick fashion. Um, so that is the demo portion. I think, going back to where we started, cases are climbing, evidence is climbing, admin is climbing right along with it. And your time really isn't at all in the evidence review process, report generation process, and all of these searches are going to keep, increasing. Today took that raw evidence, put into Rev, transcribed it, got everything organized, understand it all and got those into reports in just as long as it took those searches to complete, which is anywhere from like 10 minutes. Can then edit those in the document editor and complete those reports as quickly as possible. So, in total, I think that kind of showcases how that 4 month investigation can be brought down into a week.
Thanks, Will. I have a couple of questions here that I'd like.
Awesome.
Okay, the first is so it's our first time leveraging an AI platform. How do I know that I'm going to get value out of it?
Yeah, I think I alluded to that through the demo today. Is I think my recommendation for that is going to be going with the enterprise plan. I think a lot of people are in that space where AI is, all over the place. Everyone's using it, but how do I know I can leverage it and be safe while using it? So with our enterprise plan, you're going to get an account manager that's going to help you through the onboarding and then across the contracted period. He's there to help you. So after those onboarding sessions, if you're a couple months in, you want a new prompt in, you want to know how other legal teams are leveraging Rev. How are they getting value out of it? How are their workflows existing in there? Easy for our customer success team to jump in and guide your hand through the process and make sure you're getting, the greatest ROI and time savings across all of that.
Cool, thank you. Okay, another one. What level of CGIS does Rev have?
Yes, so we are CGIS compliance across. I think each state and other areas might have different levels, but we can match all of those. I think we, um, within our system with CGIS, we do have some UI changes where um, Rev note taker would be removed. There'd also be greater scrutiny of who can access files. And then we also have like additional security of SSO for like single server sign on. So all of those we meet and can be compliant with, and is obviously a big buzz with law enforcement, and we meet those.
Okay, those are the two that I have. If there's any attendees that want to ask something, feel free to use the Q&A or the chat function here. We're happy to answer whatever questions you've got.
I will throw my contact information back on the screen.
Cool. Well, if there's nothing else, I think we can wrap up. Will, anything else you want to say to
All
the
good.
Okay,
Um, I'd like to say, I mean, obviously my contact information is on the screen here. If you want to reach out, if there's any other questions that come up, after this, happy to connect. My phone number and email are there if anything pops up, and appreciate everyone's time today.
thanks, Will.
All righty. Thank you.